Hey everybody, it's Amanda Rieger Green coming to you to talk about the upcoming full moon in Sagittarius. This full moon is kind of an interesting energy, and if you look back to my last video, which was about the Taurus new moon, the message there was about planting seeds and planting seeds for long range change. So here we are now, a couple of weeks later at a full moon, and interestingly enough, and this has been going on for me personally, there's been a lot of shifting and change. And with shifting and change, there's often discomfort. And from the messages that I'm getting from other people and what I'm going through personally, there's a little bit of discomfort. But at the same time, there's an excitement, because I know something great is on the horizon. But it doesn't mean that I can let up in being diligent about pursuing my truth. So I think that is the message here, is really focused diligence. And that being said, Sagittarius is a sign about seeking the truth. It's the truth seeker sign. It's a fire element, and it's a persistent energy. It's a philosophical energy. This moon, a couple of things. It's a blue moon, which means there will be 2 Sagittarius full moons within a 30-day cycle. So the next full moon we have is in Sagittarius as well. So there'll be some repeating themes a month from now. So it'll be good to kind of keep track of maybe the intentions you put out or the things that you're releasing that no longer serve you, and how that works for you or doesn't work, so you re-examine some things over the next 30 days. So when we come to that next full moon, you really are taking a good look. So it's almost like we get a do-over. So we get to do this once and we get to do it again in another 30 days with this energy. What's different about this full moon is the sun is in Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, and we're moving out of Taurus, which is this slow-moving, deeply rooted earth sign, into Gemini, this very, not manic, but pretty hyper, pretty frenetic energy. So if you felt a little bit of dis-ease or uncomfortable feelings, it's probably because of the change in the sun and the change into Gemini. But Gemini is an air sign, Sagittarius is a fire sign. Air fuels fire. So there's a lot of power here in this energy that we've got around this full moon. In addition to that, very important to note, Mercury is coming out of retrograde on Sunday the 22nd. So on the 21st, the day of the full moon, Mercury is coming to a halt. Now remember, in retrograde, Mercury is the planet of communication, technology, but we've been focusing inward with communication, and now when the planet comes to a halt, all of that is exalted. So be very aware of your self-talk. You know, a lot of times we think of communication as external, but be very aware of the dialogue that you are having within, and especially in this change of energy from a very rooted, grounded, nurturing, gentle energy to a very powerful, upbeat, high energy motion, this, that, and the other, if that makes sense. Just be mindful. I brought a stone with me, as usual. The one that came to mind for this energy is Apatite. It's associated with the throat chakra. It's blue. And of course, the throat chakra is about communication. But again, what about your internal communication? But what I love about this stone is it's great for focus. And it's a good stone for stimulating the kundalini, the energy that fuels the chakra system. So it's a good stone for taking all of everything you're trying to synthesize, all this change that's coming about, this fundamental spiritual truth-telling change, taking that energy and starting to focus it to really start to identify with your truth with a capital T. Last but not least, one more thing I want to share. in a couple of conversations that I've had with dear people, they've talked about either waking up in the middle of the night terrified because they've started to make new changes, and I identify with the places that they're wanting to go in the future, and there's this real feeling of disease and discomfort, but they both use the word, and I'm just terrified. And you know, I think that's a good thing, because if you think back to times just before when you've been on the brink of something major and you've had a major breakthrough, there is an element of just fear that almost shakes you to your core. And I think terrified is a good word for that. So if you've had any discomfort, fear, anxiety, that's totally normal. Move through it, you know? There's a lot of good stuff on the horizon, but we've just got to keep plowing forward. Take this opportunity with this full moon to really see what is no longer serving you, and state intentions around getting rid of what no longer serves you in order to shed light on what's new and what's coming in that nurturing element of the full moon, but with this new Gemini and Sagittarius energy. So if you have any questions or comments, be sure to reach out to me. Remember to step into your light and stand in your truth. Namaste.